Hi, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and you might find this to be an odd little grouping of things that we have going on here, because I have a Kipper card deck here, my new Chronicles of Destiny fortune cards, as well as the Fountain Tarot tarot cards. And so you may think, why would I have these three out together? So you may be wondering at what I have that would go all together with these. However, I think I'm going to show that they will, and I'm not going to be using these all at one time, but separately. I did in testing out my new Chronicles of Destiny card set, I did a reading using a reading that I got from this Kipper card book, and it worked so beautifully with it, and I had taken a picture of it and put it on Instagram, and I thought, you know what, this is a great reading to show, because it's not really something I think that you can find easily out and about. So this is the guidebook from the original Kipper cards, and again, I'll be saying this in a couple videos before until I figure my lighting out, but please excuse the glare and shadows. It's going to be a little bit more so than normal. This is all in German, so this is not going to be very helpful. However, this right here, I went ahead and used the Google translator to figure out what this was, and it's called the Airstrip or landing strip spread, and here we have a picture of it. And so it is, you take your significator card, which would obviously be the man or the woman card in a Lenormand deck or in a Kipper card deck, and or in the Chronicles of Destiny. For this one, I would say pick, whatever your, for me, a lot of times the birth card is a significator card, just however you do your significator cards for tarot. And then you either pull deliberately. So basically what you're supposed to do is actually look through the deck to see what is the card that most represents where they want to get to. So this is something you discuss obviously with your client. What is it, where is it that you're trying to get to? If you're doing this for somebody else, if it's for yourself, obviously that's a little bit easier. If the client is in person, like a reading that I did this morning, you can actually give them the card deck, and I pulled the significator card for my client, and then she went through the deck and picked out the card that most signified to her where she wanted to get to. So that's what we have in these two cards right here. And then you pull starting with 3, and then you can go up to 7, but you kind of stop no more than 7, and you kind of start to see how can we get there. So if this is where we are, so if we have number 1, who we are, and where we are right now, and this over here is where we want to get to. Then we have what are the things that I can do to get myself to that position. I just think it's a really fantastic spread. I've used it both with Lenormand cards, Kipper cards, and Chronicles of Destiny cards this morning. I have not done it with tarot cards, but I feel like it would work just as well. So I'm going to move these to the side for a minute. So this is my original Kipper cards. And so what you would do, obviously, if this was for yourself, okay, you would shuffle your cards up, and I'm not going to go overboard because this is, well, I should have before I bothered shuffling them. Gone through. Of course, perhaps I should have picked my deck. There's the man person, but I'm not the man person. I'm sure I passed her up. Oh, no, there. So this will be the woman card. So I will put the woman card here. And then you would look through the card, either for your stack, either for yourself, or for the other person, or again, you could hand them to them and they would find the person. And I'm going to pick this one. This is a 36 deck. This is the 36 card of the deck, And so this has that idea of really good things. This is great water, great hope, like being in that position of things being wonderful. You could also use like the Fortuna card. That would be a good one for you. You obviously want to get to that sense of completion. So then you would take those out and you would go ahead and shuffle again. And we have lots of cards flying around, which I really don't pay attention to be honest. Sometimes with some tarot readings, especially though when I have the tripod in front of me, I can't pay attention to any of that because I feel most of that is just because I am clumsy at shuffling with the tripod. Let's give this one more good shuffle. Okay. So then you would start with picking 3 cards. So here we have that sort of chance meeting. We have the child card and we have the man card. So, you know, there's sort of this possibility of a meeting that's going to maybe lead to a new relationship with a man. So apparently some of my hopes and dreams and kind of good fortunes that this card represents may be connected with a relationship with a person and man. I would like to pull some more cards because I tend to want my good fortunes and successes to come from myself, but we'll keep going. So then we have number 30 here, which is sort of the court person, the magistrate that we have here. So some legal issues, anything to do with legality. And you have this sense of waiting that's here. And then you have hard work. So some patience. Now, I would be inclined, if this wasn't me, to, you know, this could actually be a progression with the legal matters as to actually leading to a marriage, or is that sort of a legal agreement between the people. I'm not personally planning on being married again. So I did that for 23 years. But that's certainly a way that you could read this in terms of the Kipper cards. So there we have, and now you could stop. So let's say you were really looking for romance, right? You stop with this Airstrip reading. You're going to stop where you feel like, when you feel like you've gotten the answer, when you kind of feel like this answer is complete. So if somebody was looking for romance and this was their hopes and their dreams and their good fortunes around, although they probably would have picked a heart card or something like that, then probably you might stop here because there is that sort of indication of a romantic meeting. Definitely a sense of somebody new that's coming into your life that may lead to a contractual agreement of going to the justice of the peace, maybe. So you might stop there if that's like what you're looking for. If you want to continue with this particular reading, it does say that you would not exceed 7 cards, because you don't want to just keep going through the entire deck until you get where you think that it should stop at, or where you would like it to stop at. So even in my reading this morning, because I'm kind of nosy, there was a couple points in which I thought, okay, this really probably gets you where you're going, but I'm nosy to see what the other cards are. So I did kind of pull down where I thought, okay, this is really the complete answer here, but let's see what other information that we might get. And actually, we just have, I think, 6 cards here right now, so we could actually pull one more. Although, so we have that sense of a relationship. We also have a waiting, and we could actually do these 3 like this, right? Now that we have 6 out, and then we sort of have this something kind of a legal matter that's being waited for, that's going to be about work, that is going to bring us or take us down a journey, or the long road, or a journey that's being taken. So then here we have that sort of, yes, there's this sort of relationship that's going to be involved in your kind of the final scope of your happiness and good fortune, but then there's also a legal matter that is going to take some waiting and some patience, because I have this sort of patience around a legal work matter, or sort of that I feel like maybe that officiating, something becoming official about work, surrounding work, and then that's going to take you on a long journey. That is a good journey here, to this place that you want to be. So that's kind of in a really quick nutshell, and not really using a real reading to do what the Airstrip reading is. So again, you have your significator card, you have the card that represents where you or the person you're reading for wants to get to, and I know that the glare is not good. I should have showed you that. And then you start with 3, and then you continue adding until you feel as if you've gotten your answer, and then you can stop, but you don't go more than 7. And for you, that may be lower, that may be 6. I like sets of 3, so more than likely I would stay more along the 6 line, but that's going to be obviously personal preference. But I really like the concept of kind of figuring out where you want to get to, and then asking that question of, okay, how do I get there? So I quite like this reading, and that obviously would work the same with Lenormand cards as well, because that's quite similar. I also used it for this morning with my Chronicles of Destiny. I do have a review, or kind of a first impressions of this, and I will say that after reading with it this morning, I am quite thrilled with the deck. The person that I read for is quite a Lenormand person. Whenever she gets a reading, I mean, she likes tarot readings that she's gotten, but when she requests or purchases a reading, it's always Lenormand. She likes the bluntness factor. She likes how clear it is. So I thought she would be interesting to try this on, because I did feel like this would read Lenormand, but also with sort of a deeper a narrative to it. So what I had heard so this is if you're reading for yourself, or if you are reading for somebody who is with you, is then I would, obviously, I don't know why I don't do it before I shuffle, but the first thing you would do is take out the significator card, and this time I'll use the man card, just because, the hero I should say. Look how awesome that is. Yes, very sexy hero. So you would first take out your significator card, and then if they were there, I would hand them the deck. That's what I did today. I handed her the deck and said, pull out the card that is where you want to get to. And so if it was for a client that was not with me, after discussing where it is where you want to get to, I would pick out the card that most symbolizes that idea of, so like this is a card for recognition. So if it's a work thing and you want to get some recognition for it, you might pull that card. You might be getting that place where you're letting go. If they're really needing to let go of something, you might choose that card. You know, there's victory, you know, there's that sense of beautiful victory that you might choose. So there's, you know, the shooting star, that would be similar to the great water, that sort of good fortune, good, you know, good omens and stuff that you might, finding your bliss. That would be a great card. The castle. So we'll choose the castle. So maybe that is to, oh, that's going to drive me nuts. I'm gonna move this one here just because of the lighting. I would generally kind of put it at the end of the spread. So we'll choose the castle. That's your home, your security, kind of stability, all of that sense there. Whoa, that was a horrible shuffle. Not because of the cards, that's because of me. And again, I do know that gilded cards, you really should not be rifle shuffling, but I will be doing it anyways, so... And these are really starting to separate. They were kind of clumping together, but they're really starting to get that where they're not. There's still a little bit, but not much, and that's not with much use. And so then I will go ahead and split it. and pull the first 3 cards. Oh, look at here. We have the heroine. We have the warlock. And we have the word on wing. Now, this is quite interesting because we have the, obviously the woman card, which is going to be sort of the significant other, or love interest, so to speak, possibly of the significator card for the man. But we have the warlock, which is actually sort of an obstacle card. It's about delays and holdups, obstacles, kind of think mountain card. I also think of that just in terms of somebody kind of, there are some illusions being done, because you just think of a warlock, he looks like he's doing creating an illusion. It can be sometimes theft. It does talk about, you think of a bird kind of coming in and grabbing it. So we have that. Then there's a message. So there is some kind of, this is sort of like the rider's card. So the word on wing makes sense. She's kind of releasing a messenger pigeon kind of feel for it. So there is a message about an obstacle to do with a relationship, that this might need to be cleared up. Whatever's going on here needs to be cleared up before we can get to that sense of security. I just keep wanting to move it over. Oh, there we go. We just don't want to lose it to the bare light bulb I have going on here. So we have that going on. Put these out here, actually. This is how I did it today. So then that's, that gives us something, but let's see what else we have. We have the review card. This is about reflection. This is about thinking about things, really looking over things that have gone on in the past, and kind of taking that moment of review, that there are answers to be found in the past. So we really do actually look like there's some work that needs to be done before we can get here. That's kind of, and again, this is a completely fictitious reading, which I don't generally like to do. We have the Enchanted Emporium. This is the #1 card, and this is about learning. This is about studying, and this is, but this is what's interesting is it's about sort of the path to awareness. So we have a lot of stuff going on about sort of internally reviewing, looking things over, thinking about things in the past, getting some messages about some obstacles regarding a relationship. We definitely, if I got this in an actual reading, would be getting that feeling like there's a lot of work that needs to be done here before we're going to really get to that full sense of stability. And again, you can pick whichever one where you feel like maybe you've gotten your answer, because right here there's a lot to work with. Like, well, okay, we need to do some digging. We need to be doing some work in some relationship aspects, taking a time to review things, that can go and to get awareness, to reach a sense of awareness about some things that are going on. But you can then keep pulling. So then here would be the interlude card, and that is to do with like a 4 of Swords-y kind of taking a break. There's there's a lot of work here that needs to be done, and then we just kind of need to take a step back and sort of let everything sink in, let everything kind of come to fruition. It's that breathtaking moment. And then if you went on to the 7th card, you would have the Bliss card, which is the happiness card, and certainly would coincide with where he wanted to get in terms of the castle. So we definitely have this kind of progression of information regarding how can we get here. And there's a lot that you could work here. I think there's a couple places that you could stop. You could have stopped here, really. Definitely you could have stopped here, because this is kind of the main bulk. And then there's like, okay, then take a breath. You're going to find your bliss. You're going to find that happy spot. You're going to reach that security. We just have some work to do back here. So I kind that, that's kind of those ideas. That's why I like to peek, though. To be honest, I kind of do like to see the 7 cards. So I have a hard time stopping, because I kind of want to say, oh, what if there's some extra special message there that I don't want to miss? So this is a way to use this with the Chronicles of Destiny, which read very similar for me to Lenormand, but with a kind of go deeper edge to it that can be similar to tarot. So it is, as I thought, quite a mix of the two, which I am absolutely loving. And it, you know, the actual reading that I did with this this particular spread, I thought worked wonderfully, as well as did my client. Thought it worked beautifully with it. So that's with the Chronicles of Destiny. Now I was going to use my Fountain Tarot, but I'm going to, because it's so, you know, it's a bigger or full-size card, I feel like we're going to lose it in the viewfinder. Let's just pull out something random here. Okay, I decided to shift to the Crystal Visions tarot because it's much more narrow. So I feel like I can get more, although these are quite glossy, so I think we're going to have problems. But we're going to give it a try. I just want to kind of show you can use this. Now, for this particular, for tarot, I don't know that I would pick a significator card, or if I did, I would pick it from a different deck, because I don't like to take cards out of rotation so much. With tarot, you know, whereas the Kipper cards, Lenormand cards, the Chronicles of Destiny have those built in. I don't really want to take the function out, but I chose the Fool card as my destination card of sort of where I would want to get to. Is maybe, not me, but just in general, maybe somebody, a lot of times I get where people just are in a really funk or something, they're in a down place and they might want to get to a better space, a more carefree space. So I'm just choosing that one, just in complete random. And so what I would probably do is I would probably, because I do often for tarot readings, pick somebody's significator card from a different deck, like their birth card. So then, you know, this is just totally random. So I would choose the Gatekeeper for this particular significator card from a different deck so that it doesn't remove it from out of rotation. So that's kind of probably how I have not done this with tarot. I have done it with the Lenormand and Kipper cards, this spread, and I have also done the Chronicles of Destiny with this morning with it, but I haven't done a straight up tarot reading, but I think that it would work really well. So there we have the Hierophant, the Queen of Swords, and the Six of Pentacles. So then we would kind of look here to see, and I guess, I mean, technically you could put the two next to each other, because then no matter how you do it, but I do like the Airstrip kind of, okay, we're trying to get over to here, which, you know, there we go. I can't see because it's too bright. I gotta fix the lamping thing. So here we have that interesting, we have that sort of idea of traditions and following and sort of kind of accepting your traditions, especially in terms of, you think about religious traditions with the Hierophant. You think a lot, for me, you think a lot about sort of that teacher aspect, that sort of aspect of learning, and we have the Queen of Swords with him. So which is quite interesting that we have these very formal, the Hierophant and the Queen of Swords when we're trying to get to almost more of a carefree aspect. So I think it's quite interesting that we have those kinds of cards show up. And again, this isn't a real reading, so, and I don't feel, I never feel like these get anywhere when you just kind of do a random reading like this. But I think that that would be an interesting thing to see what things were going on in somebody's mind, and obviously maybe too much going on in their mind to have that carefree. And then we have the Six of Pentacles, and then we can keep this, certainly the sense of coming to a sense of completion, having things, but whatever happens with completion, right, is always the new beginning. So I might necessarily stop here if I was doing it, because I love the sort of the dichotomy of having the World card show up, which is the end of a cycle, and then the Fool card being that fresh beginning and being able to, so there's, start fresh and start over fresh and come at the world in a completely new adventure, new life cycle. So I would probably stop there personally. But again, you can keep coming up until about 7 cards. So that is again a way that you can use the same spread with tarot cards. So I'm not gonna, belabor the point too much. I just really wanted to show you the particular spread, and then how you might be able to possibly use it for various different kinds of cards. So just, encapsulating whatever card or type of deck that you might use, you would pick out the significator, then you would pick out where it is that you want to get to. There it is. Fortuna, good fortune. So you would kind of pick out where you want to get to, and then you would shuffle your cards again, and then you would turn over the first 3, and then if you want more information, if that doesn't answer the question, you would continue to go along until you either finished the feeling like you had gotten your answer, or until you got to 7 cards. And so there you have the landing strip or the airstrip reading. I hope that you give this one a try, because I actually have found this to be quite insightful in real readings. In real readings, I have found this to be quite insightful in Lenormand, Kipper, and certainly the one that I did today with this. I haven't used it much with tarot at all yet, but I certainly think that it would be just as effective. So if you try this out, let me know in the comments below what you found about it. Or if you're on Instagram, take a picture of it and tag me at The Truth in Story so that I can see it. You all have a wonderful day.